Stardew Valley was released almost 10 years ago, and I have never played it. So in this video, I'll be going in completely blind playing my first full year. My goals? To figure out what the heck I'm supposed to be doing and build a sick-ass farm. Let's get into it. Please subscribe. On day 1, the mayor left me a package of 15 parsnip seeds. I decided the first thing I should do is start clearing out space so I could plant these seeds that I was given. Once the seeds were planted, I headed into town and started to meet as many people as I could. I found my way to Pierre's, where I spent what little money I had on some cauliflower seeds, and I ended the first day by planting all those seeds that I had bought. I woke up with a message from Willie on day 2 saying I should meet him at the beach, so I headed on down. Willie introduced himself and gave me my very first fishing rod. I had to take this thing out for a spin and caught my first fish, a sardine. I also managed to catch my first halibut. I decided to spend the rest of my day exploring the map and leveled up my foraging to level 1 that night. I spent the start of the next day clearing out land when I found my first geode, which I took over to the blacksmith and got some copper. Then I tried some more fishing and caught my first shad and smallmouth bass. On my way back, I noticed a flyer from Jody requesting a daffodil. So I went and fetched the daffodil I collected earlier and dropped it off with Jody. Thank you, Jody. I finished that day by doing some fishing at the beach, catching my first eel and herring, which leveled me up to level 1 fishing that night. There was a new flyer by Demetrius the next morning requesting 3 sardines. So I set out to the beach to catch the 3 sardines where I caught one the day before. I ended up catching all 3 sardines and my very first anchovy. I spoke with Demetrius by his house to complete the quest. I had a note left from Jojo Mart the next day saying that they cleared the landslide. I didn't really know what this meant, but I was curious. I started by harvesting the crops that had grown and selling them off. Then I went in search of this mysterious landslide. There was a new request in town by Demetrius asking for 2 smallmouth bass that I accepted. Then I found the reason for the letter. The cave was no longer blocked off. And inside, I met a very interesting man named Marlon. He gave me my first sword. I headed into the mines and found some items that the archaeologist Gunther was looking for. So I brought them back and donated them to him. I finished the day by catching my first sunfish and giving Demetrius the 2 smallmouth bass he requested. That night, I leveled up my farming, mining, and combat. Day 6, I started in the mine trying to get to level 5, which unlocked a journal entry to reach level 40, which I assumed was the bottom. I returned home and created a furnace that the blacksmith showed me how to make and started smelting copper. Then I went to reinvest my profits in more seeds from Pierre's. I spent the entirety of day 7 clearing land. At this point, I thought the only way to get more energy was to sleep, so I just watered my plants and cleared stuff until I was out of energy. Day 8 was similar to 7, but I created a scarecrow which gave me 100 coins. Then I watered my plants and got to work clearing land. That night, I hit level 2 foraging. The next day was when I realized how awesome rainy days were because you didn't need to water your plants. So I marched over to Pierre's and went crazy buying as many seeds as possible. I spent all my energy getting those seeds planted and still had some seeds left over. When I went outside on day 10, I found Marnie with a stray dog. Of course, I adopted the big guy and gave him a name, Joe. Joe and I, we're gonna quickly become best friends, I can just tell. I planted the last of the seeds I bought yesterday and was confused why I only started with half energy. I wouldn't figure this out until much later. By the time I was done, I was out of energy again. Well, 8 a.m.'s as good as any time to go to bed, I guess. Good night, Joe. The next day, there was a message from Robin requesting that someone find her missing axe. So I accepted the request, watered my crops, and headed out. I found her axe rather quickly and returned it to her. I don't think she looked very hard. Then I hit the mines to keep working my way down to level 40. I reached level 10 where I was rewarded with some leather boots. Looking nice. And on my way back to the farm for the night, I caught my very first bullhead. Day 12 started with a message from the mayor telling me that the egg festival was tomorrow, which to be honest at the time I instantly forgot about. I had crops that I needed to harvest and I was about to make a ton of money. I decided to head back to the mine when the mayor showed me the old community center. I couldn't really figure out the purpose of it, so I just continued on my way. I ended up reaching level 20 that day, halfway to the bottom. Well, that's what I thought. Level 20 did reward me, however, with a new sword, which was pretty cool. That night, I got to level 2 farming and level 1 combat. Also, I hit a new personal record for the amount of money I made. I was swimming in the cash. The next day began with me receiving more mail from the wizard, telling me to pay him a visit. I feel like I'm starting to become pretty popular. So I harvested my crops and began my journey towards the wizard tower. What? Why is this locked? Who invites someone over and locks them out? I was confused, so I just started fishing and caught my first chub. And when I strolled into town, the egg festival I had forgot about started. So I introduced myself to everyone I had not yet met and participated in the egg hunt. Yeah, I lost. I don't know how I couldn't figure out what was going on. But that night, I leveled up my farming to 3 and combat to 2. The following morning, I visited the wizard tower again, and he let me inside this time, where he began to summon a little thing called a Junimo and had me take drugs. What the heck is going on? This apparently gave me some forest magic, and I could now talk with these Junimos. What this meant is the community center could be completed by filling out these bundles. So I made it a new goal of mine to get as far on these bundles as I could. And I just so happened to have a daffodil, so I donated it. I was then able to find a horseradish and leek, so I got those donated as well. The next day I came across a dandelion, so I was able to finish the first bundle. This rewarded me 30 spring seeds and unlocked more bundles. One of which was the fish tank, which I had caught a lot of these fish already. The other was crops bundles, which I had a couple of also. I bought the remainder of the spring crops from Pierre's so I'd be able to finish the bundle, and got them all planted. Day 16, I started with killing some slimes for a journal entry. And ended that day with giving Evelyn a raspberry for a journal entry as well. She absolutely hated it. Wow. What is Evelyn's problem? At least I still get the gold. I agreed to slay 8 slimes the next day and headed to the mine. I got distracted and caught my first ghost fish before heading deeper. Oh, a scroll. I made it to level 30 before leaving and stopped by the community center to donate the new fish I had caught. I hit level 2 mining that night. I finished the slime quest the next morning and donated some of the items I'd found to Gunther. Then back to the mines I went. Reaching level 35 before heading back. Nice. Level 3 foraging. I harvested some crops the next morning and donated them to the community center, before agreeing to collect some wood for Robin. I quickly completed the quest and claimed the bounty. Thank you, Robin. Using what money I had, I bought and planted as many potato seeds as possible. I headed back to the mine on day 20, managing to finally reach level 40 and unlocking a slingshot. I can't believe there's more levels. At least I hit level 3 mining that night. I donated some items and got a new reward from Gunther the next day. Melon seeds. Nice. Then spent some time fishing and caught my first flounder, before leveling up my fishing to 3 that night. The next day, all the spring crops had finally grown. In addition, Marcelo's books was in town that day, but I found out I was way too poor to purchase anything. So to the mine I go. I had some mail the following day. Tomorrow is the flower dance. Very cool. Whatever that is. I harvested some of the crops that morning and found a periwinkle, which was the last item I needed for the crab pot bundle. This gave me 3 more pots and unlocked the boiler room. I am also finally upgrading my pickaxe. I kind of forgot about this, but now what do I do since I can't mine? Day 24, I spent the whole day at the flower dance. However, for me, it was the stand there and watch. No dancing took place. Oh yeah, so many of my crops are ready to go. With all my crops ready the next day, I was able to finish the spring crops bundle, unlocking the bulletin bundle. And my pickaxe finished upgrading, so of course I had to go try it out. I ended up making it to level 50, unlocking new tundra boots. Oh yeah, I got the new Uggs, baby. And I leveled up to 4 in farming and 3 in combat. On day 26, I finally felt like I was beginning to stockpile crops, and then I started the upgrade for my axe. In town, I accepted a request to bring Haley an aquamarine. I have no clue what an aquamarine is. And then purchased a fiberglass rod from Willie, which I took for a spin, catching my first largemouth bass, and with insane luck getting the aquamarine from the chest. No way I just got that. So I made a quick donation to the bundle and gave Haley her aquamarine. That night, mystery boxes were allegedly dropped from a plane into the valley. Okay. I took the second aquamarine to Gunther and received a reward the following day. Cool, some starfruit seeds. Then returned to the mine because I was determined to find the bottom, getting to level 60. On my way home, I found Linus eating out of the trash, so I told him to get a job, and he seemed quite upset. That night, I got level 5 farming. I'm gonna go with tiller because I don't even have any animals. Also, level 4 mining. It was the final day of spring, and my mom sent me 500 gold. Appreciate it, Mom. Also, my axe finished upgrading, so I went and claimed it. The decision from the previous day made me realize I should probably get some animals, so I went and purchased a coop. I went and filled in some bundles. Then I spent the remaining day fishing, catching my first bream. Day 29. It was the first day of summer and all the crops had died. So I got hard to work, clearing space for new crops. I went and bought a bunch of summer crops, making sure to get everything in the summer bundles for the community center. And I created my first sprinklers, which only cover 4 tiles, and I feel like should cover much more space. The next day I spent foraging all the summer items. This rewarded me 30 seeds and unlocked the bank bundle. There was apparently an earthquake that night. I'm not sure what that changed, and I hit level 4 foraging. The next morning, I accepted a quest to help the mayor find his lost shorts. Well, that's unusual. The coop had finished building, so I had Robin start working on the silo, and then purchased a chicken, which I named Growlu. Later that day, I caught my first pike and dorado. And that night, I leveled up my fishing. I realized there might be new fish with the season changing, so I spent some time fishing the next day, catching a couple new fish. Then I repaired the bridge at the beach, which led to finding new items for the community center. Ooh, getting close to completion. The silo was finished building the next day, so I could now harvest the hay and start feeding little Gryu. She was pretty hungry after a 48-hour fast. Some wheat had finished growing, so I headed to the community center to donate it. Then to the mine I went, descending to level 65. How deep does this thing go? The next day was pretty much the same. I did get this cool magnet ring and made it to level 70. Unlocking a master slingshot. Day 35, there was green rain. What's going on? Growlu grew up and laid her first egg. Gunther didn't seem to mind the green rain and was still at the museum, so I made some donations and headed to the bar where everyone else was. I couldn't figure out the point of the rain, so I just went back to mining. Level 80 reached. And level 4 combat. I accepted a quest to get a pike for Leia the next day, since I hadn't done a quest in a while. But I would put that on the back burner while I got all my geodes processed and items donated. And back to the mine I went. I was able to complete the geologist bundle, the blacksmith bundle, and I remembered last second to give Leia a pike that night. I was processing geodes the next day and I got a prismatic shard. Someone had told me at this point not to donate the first one I get, but I honestly don't know why. I utilized the remainder of the day fishing, where I caught my first rainbow trout, and then this happened. What was that? Was that fish wearing a hat? No, what? That's impossible to catch. And I leveled up fishing that night. Fisher just seems way better. Demetrius visited me the following day, and I had him upgrade the cave next to my house to grow mushrooms. There was also a message from the mayor notifying me about the annual luau at the beach the next day. I roamed the mines again that day, reaching level 90 and unlocking the miner perk. Day 39 was the day of the luau, so I headed to the beach. I lucked out and had a spice berry in my inventory, so I tossed that into the pit, which the governor honestly seemed to like. The following day was a big harvest day, so I went to Pierre's to restock on some seeds and accepted a quest to catch a largemouth bass for Sam on the way. The museum is starting to fill up. I finished the final bundle for the boiler room. This would repair the minecarts around the map and make it much easier to travel. I caught the fish Sam was asking for and ended up spending the entire day tracking him down. I got you. Level 6 farming. I had all the crops ready for the summer crops bundle the next day. I used the ticket Sam gave me to get an orange sapling. Then I purchased another backpack upgrade. I should have done this much earlier. I finished the day by catching the final fish for the ocean fish bundle, receiving some beach totems. Level 6 fishing. Oh yeah, I'm balling now. I remembered collecting the mushrooms in the cave finally for the first time, and started the upgrade for my pickaxe again. Only one more item to go. No, not this guy again. Oh my god. I actually got it. A crimson fish. Nice. After collecting my crops the next day, I learned you could open the coop up, and little Growlu came strolling out. After purchasing some seeds from Pierre's, I made the mistake of closing the coop without actually checking if Growlu was inside. But to be fair, I didn't see him anywhere and was distracted by the fact I could now make quality sprinklers. Some wolves made a visit to the farm that night, and Growlu was missing. He probably just wandered off. On the bright side, my pickaxe was finished that day, which was great because I could finally break these big rocks now. So I spent the rest of the day clearing them from the farm. I stumbled on a sign for a trout derby the following day, and then purchased a new chicken. Your name is gonna be Mash. Welcome to the farm. I reached level 100 in the mine that day and was rewarded with a star that my guy just decided to eat and then go Super Saiyan. Your maximum energy level has increased. Nice. The next day, I got this sick reward from Gunther. Oh, that's awesome. I continued upgrading the farm that day with quality sprinklers, drastically reducing the amount of watering I had to do. Level 5 foraging. I'm gonna go with Forester. I got the pine tar needed to finish off the exotic foraging bundle the following day. Then I spent the rest of the day looking for clay at random. I didn't find out until much later. You were supposed to hit the little worm things on the ground. Yeah, these guys. I managed to get enough clay to build another silo the next day though. Then I headed down to the trout derby and went ham, getting all types of rewards. And I leveled up my fishing to 7 that night. I used this book the next morning that I'd gotten from fishing the day before. This let me get roe from the fish. Then started my axe upgrade to steel. And headed back to the fishing derby for day 2. I'm the trout derby king. Level 7 farming. I started day 49 by donating some maple syrup. I also caught my very first roe and super cucumber. Level 8 fishing. The axe was finished upgrading the next morning. I decided to do some more mining that day, reaching floor 110 and unlocking the space boots. Leveling up to 5 in combat, I had to go with the fighter perk. 10% more damage is just so much. Also, level 6 in mining. More melons were finished growing the next day, which I needed for a bundle. Also, now that I had an upgraded axe, I could chop these stumps, which dropped hardwood. It was time for me to get a barn as well. I needed more animals. Oh my, I'm like 30 wood off finishing this bundle. Boom. I accepted the quest to slay 8 red slime after that. And in the process of slaying the slimes, I ended up at the bottom of the mine. Level 120, where I received the skull key. I have no idea what this is used for. The day after, I had a quest from George to bring him a pepper, so I grabbed one and headed his way. On the way to him, there was another quest to bring him a fire quartz as well. What a needy old guy. Alright George, here is your fire quartz. You're welcome. And here is your spicy pepper. That took me too long. You requested this 2 minutes ago. And you were happy with me like 2 seconds ago. That's the last time I deliver you anything. Then I headed to complete the slime quest for the mayor. And that night, I hit level 6 foraging. I harvested some sunflowers on day 53 and donated them to the community center. I also purchased the very first bundle in the vault for 2,500 gold. I was a little unsure what to do the last couple of days of fall since I hit the bottom of the mine. The barn did finish construction the next day though, which was cool. So I decided to purchase a dairy cow and named her Shamu. Welcome to the family, Shamu. I just started building all the stuff I hadn't tried out yet. Worm bin, mayonnaise machine, preserves jar. Then I went and bought an apple sapling because I knew I needed apples for a bundle. I finished the day by trying my hand at the Prairie King arcade game. I suck at this. In the morning, I was notified of an event happening at the beach that night. I did some exploring that day before heading to the beach to watch the moon jelly migration. The glow of summer has faded now, and the moon jellies carry on towards the great unknown. Level 6 combat. Day 57 was the start of fall, so I decided to invest in all quality sprinklers so I wouldn't have to do any more watering. I went to Pierre and purchased a little bit of everything and spent the rest of the day getting everything set up. When I went into town next day, Robin and Lewis were setting up a board where you could take on larger tasks. I accepted a task to collect 1,000 pieces of stone that week and got to it, starting with the remaining rocks on the farm and then making my way to the mine. Party hat? Ooh, that's sick. Marnie was requesting I bring her amaranth the next day for her cows. But back to the mine I go to collect more stone. At the end of the day, I donated some foraging items I had found and accepted a quest from the wizard to slay 3 ghosts. Ayo, level 7 mining. The next couple of days were similar. I was making decent progress on the stone collection, but it would take a while to finish this. What are the odds of this happening? And that's 3 ghosts down. I had a large harvest the next day, which helped me complete the quality crops bundle. And then I got a new reward from Gunther. 9 pumpkin seeds. I learned to craft some cherry bombs, which helps speed up the rock collecting. Level 8 farming. Only 92 more stones to go. I was able to collect the remaining stone that day, getting a nice reward. It also gave me a ticket. I built some preserves jars the next day because I found that they yielded a lot of money. And then I came across a book which gave me a 5% chance to yield double wood. Alright, it's about time I bought this iridium rod. I completed the fall foraging bundle that day and expanded the farm to plant the seeds I received. I agreed the next morning to help Linus find his basket, and the amaranth Marnie requested had finished growing. Shamu was all grown up now too, but it took me a while to figure out how to get milk from her. Here you go, Marnie. Nice, some new rewards, a scarecrow and an obsidian vase. And then I accepted a new mission from the big board to slay 50 skeletons, and I went ham on them. 34 killed on the first day. The mayor notified me that in a week there would be a fair in town and that I should bring 9 items for a contest. I decided to start that day with some fishing and caught my first salmon and first tiger trout, before heading back to slay some more skeletons. Wow, that was fast. 6,000 gold for that too, let's go. I had unlocked a skeleton mask as well for killing so many. Ooh, scary. And before the day ended, I remembered that the bookstore was in town. So I purchased a book that showed me the prices of items that I had in my inventory. This thing was super handy. Level 8 mining. I was rewarded with the geode crusher crafting recipe for killing all the skeletons the next morning, which breaks open the geodes for you, so you wouldn't have to pay the blacksmith anymore. But I still went to him because he was much faster. I decided to buy a second cow that day, even though I still couldn't figure out how to milk them. Your name is Mulan. Welcome to the family. And then build my first keg. This should make me wine, I think. Remainder of the day was spent fishing, catching my first sea cucumber, albacore, and midnight carp. The next day I harvested the final crop for the fall crops bundle, rewarding me with the bee house. I planted some trees and then made a realization. How have I not explored this part of the map yet? Oh, you have to break this log. What is this area? This pond has got to have some special fish in it. Hey, I needed a carp. I decided to cough up the 5K for the vault the next day. I then agreed to bring Clint a red snapper as well, since I knew I had one already. Here you go, Clint. Then I paid to have the barn upgraded, hoping it would help me milk the cows or something. It did not. I spent the entire next day foraging and organizing my chests. Look how nice this looks now. And that night, I hit level 7 foraging. Oh yeah, massive harvest day today. That day, I accepted a quest for the wizard to slay more ghosts, which that guy seems to hate ghosts, before buying seeds to replant on the farm and upgrading my trash can. I decided then to purchase my first goat from Marnie that day to make use of my newly upgraded barn. I named him Rumbus. Welcome to the fam. And sadly, it wasn't until day 70 I realized that I could hit these worm things for items. My mind was blown. No way! I collected my first honey the following day. And then I went to the mine to slay some ghosts. Thank you very much, Mr. Wizard. I then accepted a quest to collect 2 dozen eggs for Gus. And at the end of the day, I found this cool new jacket. Oh, I'm definitely rocking this. Level 7 combat. The next day was the day of the fair, so I decided to bring a bunch of extra artifacts I'd found. Looks good, I think. And I participated in this fishing game to earn stars, which I saved up so I could purchase another star drop from the shop. I also bought this rare crow. The mayor did his judging and I took last. There is always next year, I guess. I did hit level 9 farming though that night. I purchased more chickens for Marnie the following days so I'd be able to collect all 2 dozen eggs from Gus in time. Welcome to the family, omelet and potato. I did some fishing after and caught my first catfish. I finally realized that there was a supply shop at Marnie's where I could buy a milk pail and shears. Only took 73 days. I was able to finish off the river bundle with the catfish I had caught. And then I caught a walleye that night. So I was able to finish the night fish bundle as well. Glow ring? Oh, neat. Level 9 fishing. Oh, we're making good money now. My trash upgrade was finished the next day. And then I stole Robin's jack-o'-lantern trying to get into their house. Whoops, didn't mean to do that, but I guess it's mine now. I decided to purchase the 10k bundle for the vault, leaving just the 25k bundle to go. I then put down the lightning rod I received and the jack-o'-lantern I borrowed. I went back to Robin's to have her upgrade my coop, which was the reason I went there in the first place before getting sidetracked. Carolyn requested a pumpkin for me the following day, and while I searched for her to give her the pumpkin, I found this. Why does Pierre have an entire shrine in his house? Here is that pumpkin though. The upgraded coop finished the next day. It came with an egg incubator, which was kind of cool. So now that I could, I went and purchased my first duck. Welcome to the farm, Ricky. Linus was asking for a midnight carp, and I knew I had one, so I brought it to him. That night, I built my first cheese press and started making some cheddar. I got my first large milk from Shamu the day after, giving the cheese and milk to the community center. And then I took the eggs I currently had to Gus. I was about halfway there. I obtained my first goat cheese the next day and made a donation to Gunther. The museum's really starting to fill up before turning in the goat cheese to community center. I finished the day by creating an oil maker, which I never figured out what to do with. Day 79 was a big day. I just decided to spend up on the final vault bundle, completing the vault room. By completing the vault room, I unlocked the bus stop that night. After, I agreed to a new task to collect 100 bones for Gunther, not realizing how hard this would be. I plopped down the crystallarium and tried to put the prismatic shard in it, but that did not work. But a diamond did. I was then exploring the bus stop area when I wandered into another area I didn't think you could go. And I found the berry basket Linus lost a long time ago. Here you go, Linus. You got a couple days to pick berries before winter. Then to the mines I went to kill skeletons for their bones. After spending all day there, I realized that this was gonna take forever and gave up on that task. Oh, so Pam is the bus driver. And on day 80, I finally made it to the desert. Where I met Sandy, a shop owner with some special seeds. I also came across the cave. I finally found the purpose of the skeleton key that I got at the bottom of the mine. I tried to descend the new cave, but the monsters absolutely wrecked me. Wow, these guys are tough. I'm out. The following day, a man named Mr. Key offered me money to make it to level 25 in the skull cavern. So I put that in the back of mind. But first, Ricky laid her first egg. And I also discovered I could change my bobber. Okay, that's sweet. I managed to collect enough eggs for Gus the next day and got my first large egg. Almost done with the animal bundle. And so I dropped off the rest of the eggs at the bar. I went back to the desert that day to see if there were any new fish here I could catch. And I caught my first sandfish and scorpion carp, which I was able to donate. I then got my first battery the following day. Oh, you need these for a lot of items. So I decided to craft 4 more lightning rods. All of my pumpkins had finished growing as well, just in time, 2 days before winter. And in town that night there was a special event going on, where after completing a maze, I received a golden pumpkin. And that night, I leveled up my farming to 10. Definitely gonna go artisan. Oh, now we are cooking. On the final day of fall, I started incubating a duck egg I got from Little Ricky, and started the upgrade to a gold pickaxe. I was given a ticket from completing Gus's challenge, which gave me a pomegranate tree sapling. And then I spent the final evening of fall fishing, getting my first ancient seed from a chest. I came out on the first day of winter to find everything had died. I took this time to do a massive farm restructure. As soon as I got everything set up how I wanted it, I went to Pierre's to buy some seeds. No way. There's no crops you can grow in the winter? I guess that makes sense, but I'm annoyed. At least you can plant these powder melon seeds. I did at least catch my first perch that night. Willie requested that I catch him a squid the next day, and I got my first large goat milk from Roombus. Then, as I was strolling towards town, I saw this creature that ran from me. I'm not sure what that's all about. I did a little fishing and caught my first sturgeon, which completed the lakefish bundle. And I was 1 off the animal bundle now. Then I accepted a quest for Willie to collect 100 bug guts. But before heading to the mine to kill some bugs, I found this nautilus shell at the beach, which I needed for a bundle, and collected my upgraded pickaxe. The following day, I finished off the research bundle and started on the winter foraging bundle. I also had Clint start upgrading my axe as well. Back to the mine, I went for more bug guts. Another ancient seed. Monsters have a small chance to drop double loot. I took the ancient seed I'd found in Gunther. He gave me the ability to craft ancient seeds so I could now plant them. I was about 1/4 of the way done collecting bug guts at this time, so back to the mine I went. 72 down. I'd also gained a ticket, which gave me the book Friendship 101. Become friends with people a little faster. Hey, that's helpful. That night, I caught my first squid and leveled mining to 9. I did a little foraging the next day and claimed my upgraded axe. Now all I need is the crystal fruit. Then went to finish collecting the bug guts. Hitting level 8 combat that night. Clint requested I deliver an amethyst to Emily the next day, which to be honest, I mistaked for amaranth, so it took me a while to complete this one. Also, the baby duckling hatched that morning. I named her Jimmy. Welcome, Jimmy. I went and delivered the bug guts to Willie and claimed some mega bombs with the ticket I was rewarded. I had Clint upgrade my trash can to steel that day as well. I was considering buying another go at Marnie's when I noticed something in the background. Are those the purple shorts the mayor asked me to find ages ago? What are your shorts doing in Marnie's bedroom? You sly old dog. Now I was in on some good old tea. And then I ended up finding Lewis. This stays between you and me, got it? Is he threatening me? I hope he knows I got a sword in my back pocket right now. Anyways, I caught my first link cod that night also. And on my way home, I noticed some footprints that I followed. I ended up finding the shadow guy from earlier in the bushes. He handed me a magnifying glass, which gave me the ability to now find secret notes. The mayor let me know of an ice festival happening the next day. And then I went and gave Willie the squid he'd requested a while ago. I decided to throw up another silo on the farm to prepare for the coming year. And I came across a shop selling one of the items I needed for a bundle. After I caught my first wood skip, found a crystal fruit, and purchased a hat from the mouse in the woods. It was time for a new look. I almost finished off the specialty fish bundle and finished the artisan bundle and winter forging bundle. This was the final bundle needed for the bridge repair. The next day I could now go to the quarry. This was an area containing a ton of ores, including iridium. I spent the rest of the day at the ice festival, where I took first place in the fishing competition by catching 7 fish. Hey, those are pretty good rewards. I crafted my first iridium bar and headed back to the quarry the next day, where I happened to stumble upon the secret cave. What is this? Upon reaching the end of the cave, I received the golden scythe. And wow, that scythe was much more effective. Lastly, that night, I found a secret note marking a location on the map that I would seek out the following day. The next day, I accepted a quest to collect 80 hardwood for Robin, before searching for the location on the note I'd found. My reward was a strange doll. After donating the doll, I got a reward of a new rare crow. I think at this point I have 4 of the 8 crows. Then I began collecting hardwood for Robin. Level 8 forging. The next morning, Gunther paid me a visit, gifting me an old key that opens up the sewer. So I made my way there and went inside. Hey, it's this thing from earlier. I couldn't figure out what to do down there, so I left to upgrade my barn. The auto feed system was just too nice. And later that day, I got this secret note. What does this even mean? The next morning, the wizard requested a void essence, and I was notified that a squid fest had begun. I should probably go check out this squid fest thing. But first, I had to collect my daily hardwood and pay the wizard a visit. Here is your void essence, Mr. Wizard. Then I made my way to the beach to find the squid fest in progress. Looks like I need to catch at least 8. I was able to catch all 8 that day, claiming all the prizes. Well, shoot, I don't have enough room for all this. And that night, I maxed out my fishing, choosing the pirate perk because I wanted to finish the museum faster. I got this cool ball cap from a task that I completed the day before, and it was time for a new look. But then I still needed 16 more hardwood for Robin, so I headed towards the forest. And on my way, I decided to purchase my first sheep. Welcome to the family, Zuba. And while chopping hardwood, I found this book that increased my defense. I feel like it's time I start to make this farm look nice. On day 98, I was notified that a traveling merchant would be at the beach that night, which looking back, I completely forgot about. I was able to finish collecting all the hardwood and found my first lost book for the library. I made my way to Robin, upgraded my house, and dropped off the wood. I then went back to the skull cavern to try and get deeper, but my efforts were quickly thwarted. Why are these guys so strong? I made my first loom, and only finally realized that the quest earlier was about amethyst, not amaranth. Here you go, Emily. I agreed to fish out trash for Linus the next day, which seemed like a really easy task. I was quickly able to finish it by fishing from the pond on my farm. Okay, where did Linus get all this money? That night, I happened to wander into the night market and ended up taking the submarine to the bottom of the ocean, where I was able to fish, and I caught my first spookfish and midnight squid. I got my first large brown egg on day 100. With this, I was able to complete the animal bundle. Boom. And that would unlock the greenhouse. My house finished upgrading the following day, and look how big this thing is now. I freaking got a kitchen. Also, now that the greenhouse was built, I could grow crops all year round. So I spent the entire day getting it all set up. The next morning, I was told about a feast that would happen on the 25th, and that I should bring a gift for Gus. Then I went and upgraded my coop at Robin's. Again, the auto feed is just so nice. And tried my hand at cooking something later that day, making my first fried egg. The next day, I found a present while chopping some wood. And I also got a treasure chest from a mystery box, so that was pretty sweet. I decided to plant some trees in the greenhouse the next day, and also got my first thing of wool from Zuba, which I tossed on the loom. Evelyn visited me the next day and gave me pots I could use to grow crops inside. These pots would be especially useful in winter. Maybe Evelyn's not so bad. I collected my first bundle of cloth and completed a task for Robin, reaching my first 5-heart friendship. On day 106, Emily visited, telling me I could use her sewing machine. I decided I was going to make my return to the skull cavern before the end of the winter, but needed to prepare first. I started the preparation by improving my rings. Then I accepted a new task to find ectoplasm from slaying ghosts. This is the third time the wizard has paid me to kill ghosts. I killed a ton of ghosts that day, but never received the drop. So I just have to try again the next day. At the start of the following day, I found some sunglasses. Dang, I look nice. But back to slaying ghosts I go. While slaying ghosts, I found another secret note, which read something like, check the bush next to the bridge at 12:40 p.m. I also finally found the dwarf squirrel too. I've been looking for this thing forever. No luck with the ectoplasm that day, so I headed to the bush, where this happened. Whoa. Both you guys have homes, you freaks. What are you doing in the bushes? And the secret love affair between the mayor and Marnie continued. The next day, I donated the scroll, getting the Dwarvish translation guide, so I could finally now speak with this dude. Later, I returned to the skull cavern, thinking I might have a better chance at the ectoplasm drop there. This time, I went with a lot of food and upgrades, making it the furthest I had yet. Level 8, but I still didn't get the drop. Level 9 foraging. On day 109, the festival was going on, but I had forgot about it. I found Gus, and luckily I had a coconut on me from the day before, so I gave it to him as his present. Haley was my gift giver, and I got a jade. Think I just would have preferred a coconut though. Back to Ghost Lane I went the next day. I was getting so close, I felt it. Nice, only took 2 ghosts today. Here is your ectoplasm, good wizard. The following day, the wizard gave me blueprints to an obelisk, which allowed me to teleport around my farm. That seems like it could be pretty handy. I loaded up on food that day. It was the day I was gonna make it to level 25 in the skull cavern. But first, I went and purchased a pig. I named him Grenard. Welcome to the farm, little Grenard. I journeyed back to Skull Cavern, and I was determined to make it to level 25. Wow, this hole just took me down 7 levels. It was at this point I realized that I think you need to bring these tent kits to stay overnight. Otherwise, I think it's impossible to make it deeper in time. I was beginning to lose hope when I stumbled upon another hole. Wait, another one? Let's go! I actually might make it to level 25. Level 25. I got really lucky with those holes, but I'll take it. And I found this note on level 25 saying somebody is waiting for me on level 100, which piqued my interest. That night, I hit level 9 combat. It was the final day of the year, and I received 10k from Key because I had reached level 25. I wanted to go back to the Skull Cavern, but since today was the final day, I spent time to make the farm look nice. Neat, my first duck feather. I then donated my final item to Gunther for the year, dropped off the duck feather I just collected. All I needed was the red cabbage. As I was wandering through the forest, I saw the shop was there. No way she has a red cabbage. I felt so lucky. And the dye bundle was completed. Then I spent the last night talking to people in the bar, playing arcade games, and drinking beer. Cheers, lads! And then I did one final drunk walk home. Good night, Mr. Squid. And that is my first full year of Stardew Valley. I see why so many people enjoy this game, and I can't wait to play another year of it now that I know what I'm doing. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you drop a like and subscribe to the channel for more videos in the future like this. Also, it'd be super helpful if you comment game recommendations down below. Thank you very much.